We're going to get you all started with, I told you, quarter 2. Well, this also represents 9 weeks worth of stuff. Do you think that you can keep this remotely safe for 9 weeks? Okay. Womp, womp, womp. Okay. It's a fresh start. It's a new packet, new stuff, new quarter. Just start fresh from here. I don't average the quarters. Honestly, I think quarters are just kind of lame. But
Thank you.
I really do believe if y'all just lock it in from now forward, pretend that the last 9 weeks didn't exist, you'll be fine. You will be fine. So, I want you to flip through a little bit. I tried something different this time. Based off of previous years, I tried to stick in there the supplemental practice handouts that I have. You know, sometimes we say, yeah, we need some more practice with this, and we take an extra day on it, and it's like a worksheet or something. I'm trying to anticipate that, and I stuffed them in here already. I don't know if we'll do all of them. Maybe there'll be something else that I need to add in. But I think we should have everything in one spot. No, that's numbers. That's chapter 1. This file takes forever to load too because it's the entire course in one PDF. There we go. Creepy people.
I was just thinking the same thing.
All right. Who's played with these before?
I can't see them.
Algebra Tiles.
Oh, I used to play with those a lot.
Okay. Some kids have used these. This is a physical representation of variables and constants, letters and numbers. So if this is your jam, if you are a more hands-on person and you would rather physically see things in front of you, I've got a couple of sets, not many. But the idea is if I'm taking like 5 plus a -3, I would literally put 5 red squares, or 5 yellow squares, 5 and 3 red squares. 5 positives, 3 negatives. I'd line them up. Oh, wait. Positive, negative. Cancel. Positive, negative. Cancel. Positive, negative. Cancel. There's 2 positive squares left over. Okay, so it's +2. Some kids need that. If that's your jam, I've got, I think, 1 or 2 sets. I don't have much. I'm saying it's an option moving forward. They start with that over here. Now, they're going to draw it out to show you how to do this. It doesn't mean that's how we have to do it. But I just want to start by showing you that as an example. Y'all kind of beat equations to death last year, right? We're going to do it again because turns out it's a zombie. It comes back. If I were to just give every single one of you in here equation like and say solve and check. Ew. Right? Especially you start going throwing fractions in there.
Mhm.
So if we're going to get to that, we have to be able to go back to the beginning. So some of the stuff that we're going to do for the next week or two might be kind of simple for some of you, might be really tough for others. We're going to review it regardless because it's good practice, because this is the bare bones stuff you have to go into either consumer math or business math or geometry. So, starting with, whoa, slow down there, Frank. Okay. If I say 4x plus 5, I can literally show it with tiles as 4 x's and 5 1s. And then I would take and I would add in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. And I'd say, well, this and this cancel. This and this cancel. This and this cancel. The cancel. Okay, now I only have 4 x's. But if I threw 5 negatives over here, I would also have to do them over here, right? And then cancel, 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 cancel. Oh, hey, look. I've got 20 or 16 of them left. It's just a way to show it. And I'd say, well, there's 4 x's. So what if I grouped this junk into 4 rows? Then I can just pretend each row is worth 4. Okay? It's just a visual description of it. So they start with that. I just wanted you to see what it means. We know what it is. Like, hey, this. Frank. There we go. The rules for solving equations. Right next to this, you got this little area right here. I'd like us to write down some rules. What you do to one side, you do to the other. That's the one that most kids remember. It's a teeter-totter. It's a balance. Okay? If I throw AJ and Riley on teeter-totter, okay? Doom, 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 doom. What are you talking about? You got an adamantium skeleton. You're set. Okay? Everything's great, right? Can I just come over here and plop down on Riley's side and everything's great?
No.
See you, dude. Okay?
We're on Mars.
You can't do something to one side of a balance without doing it to the other side, or else something's going to get screwed up. Mythbusters did a whole episode about that, seeing if they could launch a girl onto the top of the school from a teeter-totter. Turns out you can't, because if you apply enough force fast enough to actually create momentum, it just breaks the teeter-totter. They tried that, also broke it. What they had to do was use a lattice work in a V, like that. Like the radio towers. And then they put the little girl there, and then they dropped like 3,000 pounds in a bunch of water barrels on top of it. And they launched her. Yeah, she died. Like, she died. But
Wait, actually living girl?
no, they used a crash test dummy, and then they put shock pads on her. So they experience G-force, and if they have enough G-force, they break. So you can see, look, if you have this much G-force on your limbs, they will break. If you have this much G-force on your chest, it will crush your rib cage. It will stop your heart. It will do all these things. So they took it to crash test dummy, put a bunch of fun stuff on her, and launched her.
Okay, that actually sounds like an episode I want to watch.
And she was deader than dead. She broke like every bone in her body. But she made it to the top of the school. So,
I'm like, that kind of counts as success.
okay. What? That was the myth. It was a story about they were doing construction near the school. The wire on a crane snapped and it landed right on the teeter-totter and it launched a girl on top of the school. Like, no, it didn't. We got proof. So, what you do to one side, this is a balance. You have to do the other. The next, this is a me thing. This isn't a you have to for math thing, but I'm going to force you to do it because we need to get good habits. Is we're going to show our steps. And that includes things like over here. What is 5 minus 5? So I'm actually going to show that as 0. I'm going to show that that's 0 in my work. I'm not just going to scribble it out. I'm not going to X it out. I'm going to put a big fat 0 around there to show that 5 minus 5 is 0. It's going to help me with my signs. It's going to help me know what hasn't changed so it drops to the next level. When I say what you do to one side, you do to the other, a really common thing that helps kids keep that straight is they literally put an invisible force field between the two sides. Okay? Y'all seen like the second Hunger Games? Like the fog bank of death rolling down the hill about to melt her face off, and then it hits that invisible wall. It can't go through. That is your invisible wall of doom. You cannot cross it. You cannot combine things through the invisible wall of doom. It will melt your face. Instead, you do stuff on both sides to mirror each other. Okay? All of last year. We're going back through it again because we got to know how to do this to get to the new stuff. What's another good one? You're going to hear me say something like, math is communist. Okay? You're like, wait, what? No. The word communism actually gets a really bad rap in the United States because communist governments don't work very well. But do you know why? Do you know what that is? Do you know what communism is? Do you know what it is? Okay, I don't know what it is. I've just been told it's bad, so I'm going to say it's bad. No. Actual communism is an amazing philosophy. It just doesn't work with people. Communism is commune. Do you know what a commune is?
No one.
Okay. A commune is a group that works for the betterment of the group. No one is more important than anyone else. Everyone has the same thing. Some people might work harder than others, but that's okay. You know that it's for the benefit of the group. Human beings are terrible at accepting that. So the reason that communist governments usually fall is because they say, look, everyone's going to get the same thing. Except me, I'm more important because I'm in charge. So I should get lots of stuff. But it's okay, you'll all get the same thing, just not much of it. Human beings can't be trusted with it. When I say math is communist, I mean it literally. You have to do to each the same thing. The same thing. The same thing. Here's what I mean. This problem can be solved by actually dividing by 4 first. Where kids screw it up is they'll divide this by 4 and that by 4. Who got left out? If I divide this by 4 and this by 4, who got left out? The 5. Math is truly communist. If I'm going to multiply or divide by something, I'm going to multiply every single term. I can't just say that I'm going to double his homework, and I'm going to double her homework, and I'm going to triple yours.
I would rather not. I would rather not.
It's not fair, right?
I already have enough on my plate. Thank you very much.
But then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to cut theirs in half.
I have no homework.
And I'm going to take away all of his except one problem. Like, that's not fair, right? I have words about that. But we're going to come back here. We might add some more to this. But you have to do the same thing to every term or to every side. You have to show your steps. If you don't do that, you will screw up. I guarantee it. Now, the example that you can't at me as I'm already halfway through erasing it. Okay, got you covered. All right. So, they're showing the steps. They're writing out next to it what they're doing. What I would add in this in my work, just so you know how I'm going to run through equations. I'm going to show my steps separately. Okay, so all the same stuff that they're doing, except when I say minus 5, minus 5, when I say, just bear with me, 4x is 16, and then we divide by 4, divide by 4, and get x is 4. That's why. As I'm going through this, you're going to see me actually show this is 0, drop 4x. I now have 4x equals 16. I'm going to show divide by 4 and divide by 4. Well, what is 4 divided by 4? No. 1. Which is why I have 1x left over, not no x's. Don't say 0, because 0x is literally no x. There should be nothing over here.
I finally got that right.
There's 1x. Once I get here, I can also check it. See, an equation is a sentence. I'm saying 4 times the thing plus 5 gets me 21. I'm going to buy 4 Happy Meals and a $5 supersized shake. It's going to cost me $21. How much do the Happy Meals cost? Well, $21 minus $5, because I know that. So 4 Happy Meals is $16. So divide them by 4 and I'll know what 1 Happy Meal is. $4. That is linear equations that you do in your head all the time. You do that all the time. You just aren't writing it out. This is literally the most applicable form of math. But we have to show our steps or else this is going to get awful confusing awful fast. everything over here. If you want to work with Algebra Tiles, you go work with our case managers. You come in here during Spartan time, work with me. We can do those. Instead, I want you to completely skip that page if you don't want to do Algebra Tiles. We're going to come over here. They have the problem worked out for us. They have an example. I'm going to add in some of the stuff that we need to be writing. First of all, what does this line mean? Divide. Okay. So when I say minus 5 to each side, I'm going to say 5 minus 5 is 0. I want to see that in your work. Because now I see the only thing that's left was m divided by 6. To solve equations, you do what's called inverse operations. Inverse is the opposite of. Puts you back where you started. Good example. Everyone, stare straight forward. Turn your head 90 degrees to the right. Turn your head 90 degrees to the left. How many of you are now looking to the left instead of straight forward? Because you can't follow directions. Gotcha. 90 right, 90 left. Back where it started. Those of you that went all the way to the left, you went 180 degrees to the left. Okay?
Which I was smarter than that.
Sneaky, sneaky. We'll see who was really good at Simon Says back in elementary school, right? All right. So if I say m divided by 6, I have to do the thing that undoes that. What is the opposite of divide? Multiply. You notice that this just went away? They didn't show you how it went away. This is over 1. Do you remember cross-canceling? Like that. What I don't want to see you do is do that and then multiply that. Because that's literally too many 6s. You used a 6 to get rid of the denominator, and you threw another 6 on the m. Too many 6s. Stop that. Okay? It's just a cross cancellation and done. And then I've got m is 24. Now, at the end, they say check. If you want to write it here, or maybe go back to that front page where we started writing some of our rules and our notes, probably a better idea, so it's all in one spot. When we check, use parentheses. Use parentheses. Replace the variable with a set of parentheses and then put the number in the parentheses, because it will help keep us from screwing up exponents and negatives. Y'all remember last year, how many times did you do everything right except there was a negative?
Oh,
And you're just like, I'm done.
Messes up the whole thing.
Yes, it does. That's why we're going to use parentheses when we check our stuff, because that should keep us from screwing that up. So, this is called a two-step equation, because it is, well, 2 steps. There we go. Keep up. So, I start with an equation. To get to here, what moved? What went away? The 7. And I know that I added 7. Why? Right? The opposite. Hey, how many of you are already like there's just a little too much going on here? Right? Little better? I can at least see which side of the equation is which.
The equal signs are in the same spot. So what if a smaller one was moved over or something? Can you move it or?
And that's where I usually like to make almost like a T-chart. I like to do that at the beginning of my problem, so I make sure that I always keep my equal sign there.
Okay.
It's kind of like guide rails. It's like bowling with bumpers.
What?
Bumpers, the little inflatable things or whatever that come out the... Yeah, it's like a big rubber tube that covers the gutter. Or are they solid here? Okay. All right. Depends where you go, I guess. It's really funny when they're the inflatable ones because if you still get the ball into the gutter, it just kind of does this sad balloon across the top of it. And then the ball's just stuck there. Yeah. Anyway. I got my line to separate things. We said that we're going to add 7 to both sides. So show add 7. I better have a plus 7 on both sides. What should I be showing right now? Well, 13 plus 7 is 20. So yeah, I've got that part. What should I show over here? What is negative 7 plus 7?
0.
0. Show me this zeros out. I know it seems lame. Some of you don't need to do it. But if we all get into that good habit now, I swear it will save you later. Okay. So we added 7 to both sides. We simplified it. 13 plus 7 is 20. Now,
Sorry. If we don't want to put this in the middle of the equation, can you do it out?
try things. I have it there for a reason, and it's going to come up later when this is out of order or there's different signs and that 0 comes into play. Try things. Okay. What is that negative 2 doing with A? Right here. All right. Tell you what Mr. Larson told me 20-some years ago. Whenever you have something smashed up on something else, like rabbits and hormonal teenagers, they multiply. Whenever they're smashed together, they multiply. Okay? Tell you when you're older. Okay? So if this is a multiply, how do I undo it? Divide. So I'll divide both sides by negative 2. And I'm going to say that. Divide by negative 2. Now, on that side, I may have a negative 10. Yes, you're right. But I want to show that negative over negative is now positive, and I want to show that 2 over 2 is 1. Trust me, it's gonna help you later. How many times have you played the game and you get like how many levels in and you're like, why isn't this working? And then, oh wait, I skipped the tutorial. That's just a button. Okay? This is the tutorial. I am telling you, do this. It will help you later. If you're going to ignore me, don't be surprised when you keep dying at that one spot because a grenade lands on your head. Okay? Now, I said the A was negative 10. Look at what they did. Parentheses. They replaced A with a set of parentheses so that I can plug in a negative 10. Because now I see a negative 2 smashed up on a negative 10. What are they doing?
Multiplying.
So that is positive 20. And, double check it, what is 20 minus 7?
13. No.
You sound hesitant. Press buttons. What is 20 minus 7?
13 is 13.
It is 13.
It says it right there.
Here's the thing, though. What they don't show you is there's a little question mark that we write above these. I'm seeing, does this actually equal 13? It's not until the end of the problem when I get 13 equals 13 that I know I'm right. That would be like, you ever gotten your dog back after they're just ridiculously muddy or they're all covered in like snowballs and they look like this little cotton monster or something, right? You're like, this doesn't even look like my pet. You have to clean them off, and then at the end they're like, okay, yeah, it's ours. I see the tag. You have to get to here to confirm its identity. Make sure that it is actually 13. You can't just BS it and say, look, I wrote something. It must be 13. Because you might be wrong.
Wait, don't we have to do simplify on that too?
Actually,
That's what that was. 13 equals 13. The 20 minus 7 was 13. Okay? So, the algebra tiles, again, I'm not going to worry about it. I would like to come over here and see that one more time. These two-step equations. They just leave me a blank line. They're not really telling me what to do. Oh, wait. They tell me exactly what to do. Subtract 16 from both sides. So if there's a plus 16 there, what? Wait a second. There's not a plus 16 there. There's just a 16. How do I know that I'm supposed to subtract 16?
You should say on the
add,
instruction.
you can still subtract even if it's like on numbers.
Right? Like there's no negative in front of it. I know that that's positive because there's no negative in front of it. So, if it's a positive 16, I will undo that with subtract 16. Does it feel kind of weird to just write those negative 16s kind of floating there? Like there's no real boundary line? So there's nothing wrong with you coming along and saying, there shall be balance. Oh, I'm sorry. Perfectly balanced as all things should be, right? Okay. It would be better if I could actually do that. It'd also be cooler if I was Thanos. Thanos was a horrible genocidal maniac, but boy, he made some points. What should I show before writing the next line? What is 16 minus 16? 0. So this is why I say we put the 0 on there, because now I see what sign goes with this. Now I know it's a positive 7. So I have 7z is, what's 100 minus 16?
84.
You sure about that?
90
Minus
94.
16 is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 94.
It is 84. I'm just messing with them.
I lied.
Okay. Yo. It was right there. So yes, it is 84. And then they just write it again. They say, okay, now I'm going to do something to it. 7 is all smashed up on Z, like a puppy humping its leg.
A what?
You ever seen puppies? You know, they get that age and they come up and find Uncle Larry and they just, right? Okay. It's multiplying because they're smashed together. Trying to. Okay. You want to undo that. Leave Uncle Larry alone. So you will divide. I mean, we are coming up on Thanksgiving. Okay.
A month long gained 20 pounds.
Thanksgiving's good stuff.
Well, because you eat all that.
It's the amount of food, like the chemical in turkey that they talk about. There's such a minuscule amount that it doesn't do what they say it does. It's the amount of food.
Me and my dad were all passed out.
So, now that I'm here, I need to show what? What is 7 divided by 7?
1.
1. Show that it's 1. Show that I have 1 Z left over. Grab your calculator if you don't know it off the top of your head, and 84 divided by 7 is
12.
12. Because he actually has the calculator in front of him,
And I wrote down the answer close to it.
a real calculator. Y'all need a calculator. You're going to need a calculator. We're going to head into Equation Town here. Look at the name of the chapter on the front of the packet. Equations. Our next 8 sections, our next nearly 9 weeks, is all equations and inequalities. You're going to need a calculator. I don't want you to have to do the heavy lifting on your own just by thinking really hard at the paper. That doesn't work most of the time. I want you to have a calculator that works for you.
Wait, then what works most of the time? Since you said most of the time.
Well, some of you just screw up how to use a calculator. Okay. Now, these have all the steps written out. You just got to fill in the blank. Just like we already done, I recommend that you throw that invisible force field right down the middle there to make sure you're doing the right thing. Try these too. I know they can. I think it has more to do with the attention being paid. Did you do these 2 problems? Then do those. However, I will run 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Good.
Okay, any tissue? Any tissue? Tissue's okay.
down. Because you can't give away the value. Because that has a B. Look at the and he said you have to make it a 0. Check that. Got it out.
I was stopped. All right. We still have time. Don't you dare pack up. Not in my house. We got time. I want to make sure that we got what we're supposed to get. How do I get rid of a positive 4? Write it. If I subtract 4, I should probably say 4 minus 4 is 0. What is 60 minus 4? They already said, simplify it. Cool. If 8b equals 56, 8 is smashed up on that b, getting all gross. Get them out of there. Divide. Okay. Make sure you write that. I divide by 8. And then 56 divided by 8, you said 7. Show this is 1. Same thing over here. We have a positive 20. I'm going to subtract 20. If I have 20 and I minus 20, what does that equal? Was 20 minus 20? 0. And then 17 minus 20 is negative 3. Okay. What is that negative 12 doing with k? Okay, there. What's that line? Divide. Multiply both sides by negative 12, and then you got your answer. Okay. With our next quiz. All right. No assignment. We'll just finish off 2-1 and have time to work next time.